really it's the love of money which is the root of all evil. It's not money itself.
We've all heard it, from all kinds of people, all walks of life, whether it's your pastor or, a parent or a friend or anyone, people who read the Bible, who don't read the Bible. We've all heard it, that money is the root of all evil.
But really it's the love of money which is the root of all evil. It's not money itself.
Yeah.
Money can't be an evil substance when we can use it to bless people. It's just what's behind it. And when you love it and when you have greed of it and when you are just sacrificing everything to have it and doing it for the wrong reasons and unethical to make money, then that's when the evilness, comes into play. It's not money itself.
And a lot of people even would think that is technically in the Bible that money is the root of all evil, but actually 1 Timothy 6:10, it's the love of money. The lusting of it, the pursuing and the craving of it. Oh, I'll do anything for it. Oh, this is what makes me who I am.
Idolizing it. Putting money before God.
Right.
Not even tithing your money.
Right.
For whom much is given, much is required.
Right.
So you have to be understanding of that, really what the significance of that is. Right. And you have to give back to God's kingdom, with your finances, because without Him you wouldn't have it.
Exactly.
So you can't idolize the money, put it before Him.
Right. A lot of people, let it rule the world. It's their number one thing. Make money. That's their number one goal, their number one objective in life is to, make as much money as they possibly can.
And really it's not about that. It's about, living a life full of passion that's going to leave a legacy that's going to outlive you. It's all about living something out loud that's going to outlive you. So when you go, you have an inheritance to your children's children. And the Bible talks about that as well. Leave an inheritance to your children's children. That's not just about money. That could be about a lot of different things. I'm talking about breaking generational curses here. It's time for us as millennials to do that, whether it's poverty or certain situations in your family, alcoholism or addictions. It's time to break those generational curses and, flipping the script and leading for the next generation to come.
Right. And we have to understand that money is a tool. And to say that, money is the root of all evil, just like how people say guns are dangerous, and how, guns are, but if you really think about it, we've all heard of this saying, right? If you lay a gun down, then 10 years later, that gun's not going to go and kill somebody on its own. It's all about the intentions of the person behind that actual tool, the intention of the person behind the money and the person behind the gun. Either way, it's all about where the heart is at of the person who's using that tool. The same person with $1 million here, $1 million here, two different people could do two different opposite things with that same money.
Because with the money aspect of what I was talking about with what you can do with it, money can be a blessing. It eliminates hunger, destroys poverty, prints Bibles, pays for tuition. It does a lot of blessings. But when you're using it for the wrong things, like gambling and just having the lust for it to get more when you already have something that you already need. There's nothing wrong with multiplying your money and being fruitful, because the Bible teaches us to do that as well.
Right.
But just gambling and having the lust of doing just unethical behaviors like prostitution, drug trafficking, all different type of activities that involves money in the wrong way.
Right.
To get more of it.
People say money is the root of all. If you think about it, the lack of money causes things that are seen as evil to happen as well.
The lack of money, creates the robberies,
exactly,
the murders,
exactly,
a lot of behaviors that you wouldn't do necessarily if you were in need of the money.
Right.
So when you're in desperate measures, you'll do anything to get it.
Exactly. And like you were saying, the reason why people are doing that is this world has made money. Society and has made money the number one thing. You can't survive without it. No one wants to be homeless. Nobody wants to be looked down upon. We need housing. We need all of these things. Even people are even paying for water now, and you can't even live without water. You see what I'm saying? And so, food, all of these things that we actually need, not just like, clothes that can be seen as a want or a need or a luxury, but, even though we do need clothes, right? But, if you have a kid, oh, now money is because in order for your kid to survive, everybody will do anything for their child. So you got to pay for diapers, you got to do all of this, you got to make sure that your kid is safe, not just yourself. Now being homeless is not even an option because you have a kid. And so our country, America, we have in the world itself has made money the biggest craving god in our world today.
And unfortunately, financial literacy isn't really taught in our school system. We've touched on this before. So as Christians, we have to stay grounded in our word, having that foundation and just God's wisdom, praying for the discernment from Him, which comes from the Lord, is His wisdom. But the financial literacy part, just getting the self-education in the bookstores, seeking those topics that you can't learn elsewhere. So just getting books about money and how it works, and how the currency works, and how you can multiply, how you can invest it, and how you can bless people. Money is really going to just multiply your intentions behind it. It'll really just be what the person already was. If the person was an evil person in the past and they get money, it's the same situation. If they're a person that was already willing to bless people and go out their way when they didn't have the money, when they have the money, I believe they'll do the same thing. That's my belief.
And see, it also comes down to how strong are your roots. Just like if you think of a tree, when a storm comes and the wind is blowing and the rain is pouring down, a lot of times you'll go outside and be like, whoa, that big tree just fell, and then there'll be a smaller tree that didn't fall. It's like, well, how is this? It's all about how strong the roots are. How strong are your roots? When you do get the money, how strong are your roots in your faith? A lot of times we fall. A lot of us fall because our roots aren't strong. We're not in our word. We're not praying and talking to God like we should be. We're not, and that's what it really comes down to. How strong are your roots and how strong are you in your faith, so that when you are tested, because it's easy to say, oh, I'm not going to do that when I get the money, or if I get money, this is what I'm going to do with it. But when that opportunity comes, because when the opportunity actually comes, when you have access, and I always say access can change character,
especially if you're not grounded.
Especially if you're not grounded. And so it's all about, are you grounded? Are you in your word? Are you speaking with God? And are you in tune with with your faith?
You just have to keep praying, asking for God's will to just take place in your life. And we're not saying to be poor. We're not saying that being rich is everything. But being a Christian doesn't give us an excuse to be poor. Right. And don't be afraid to seek that financial freedom, is what I call it. Right. And that's really, for me, financial freedom is, it's besides living comfortable, just having the ability that money or time is not an issue. Right. So having that time to spend with your spouse or your kids, having that, passive income coming in, even with your job, you could do different things, so you don't have to just be time broke.
Right.
I don't believe God wants us to be a workaholic. God he's called us all to work. Man was not meant to be lazy. We were all supposed to have a sense of work, sense of purpose, work with the purpose, and everything we do is in honor, and all glory goes to God with your career path. Right. But it doesn't give us an excuse to be poor. It doesn't give us an excuse to be rich with idolization behind the money. That makes sense.
Exactly. And a lot of times we'll be afraid to make money because it's looked down upon a lot of times. Especially religious folk, people stuck in tradition, people stuck in old ways and stuff like that. We'll be afraid of we want to please them so badly, or make them think that we are oh, you're holy, or something like that.
That's why you got to pray against that spirit of religious.
Right.
You have to just really stay away from being too religious and just work on that personal relationship, like we always say.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
It's all about the personal relationship.
You can't be a religious person all the time. You have to be
religious, like someone you don't want to be someone who is so stuck in religion that they miss the relationship. That you're so stuck in it that you're like, at the end of the day, you're like, oh well, I'm not really close.
So stuck on following all the rules,
the
rituals.
The rituals. There you go. That's the word. You don't want to be so stuck in the rituals that you don't gain a personal relationship. And so a lot of times we're so stuck in that we let the fact that, oh, you're making money, you must be, worshiping that money. You got to make sure that keep God first, and that's true. And that's very true. But when people say that to you every time you're saying, oh, I'm an entrepreneur like you are, when people say that, then you start thinking like, well, am I wrong?
They'll question you, and there are plenty of Christian entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is what can create jobs.
Exactly.
So I don't understand why somebody would look down upon that. And just having people who are personally Christians and who know God first, who wouldn't want an economy that's led by Christian leaders that is creating those jobs and creating income for other people. Like I said, blessing other people with the knowledge of what you can do with money.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with making money. You just don't want the money to make you. You don't want to mix up your net worth with your self-worth. You don't want to try to cover up what's on the inside with what's on the outside. A lot of people do that. They buy clothes and they buy houses and they buy, cars and all of these different possessions to try to cover up of the lack that they have on the inside. And then that becomes an unending pursuit of trying to please the world, trying to be seen. A lot of people are still, you're 40 years old, still trying to be seen, still trying to prove that you're worthy. And then you have a lot of people who, you can tell they've been hurt in their childhood, right? They flash their money. You have a lot of celebrities that flash their money and try to, show that they are, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm worthy of the attention, of the attention. And so,
sometimes, the wealthiest people in the world, they don't flash their money. Look at
Mark
Bill
Zuckerberg,
Gates,
yeah, like those kind of people say you see Mark Zuckerberg on the street, you don't even know that he's rich, all those different
Bill
people.
Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg. I couldn't tell.
Right.
You wouldn't know.
And it's a lot of times it's the people who have the most of the least that try to flash it. Not the most of the most, but the most of the least of the money that try to flash it and say, here, I'm this, I'm that. And a lot of times you have to ask yourself, well, a lot of times those people are trying to trade in their net worth for their self-worth. Trying to say, well, because I have this money, I am this. But then if you lose that money, now what are you?
It's unfortunate. A lot of people are defining their self-worth with the money, with social media validation. How many likes did I get? How many followers I have? Who commented on my status today?
Right. It's an ego. It's an ego game.
It's an ego game now.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to, one up on people. It's like a big competition.
Everybody wants to be a celebrity.
Right.
Everybody wants to be known. Everybody wants to be followed.
Right. And they've created that follow and that like, and now everybody wants to be liked and have that feeling of being liked. And it's all this virtual world that's kind of going on, where you could be one person on social media.
It's unfortunate. And social media is a blessing, but it can be a curse.
It can be a curse. It's just like money. It's all about the intentions of the person behind it.
Like me personally, you personally, we use our social media for positivity, for our businesses, for branding, staying in touch with friends and family, but it's never been for a purpose of an egotistical gain.
And so, that's a great way to end the episode for episode 2, of money is the root of all evil, but now we know the truth behind that. And Jay, do you have any last words?
Yeah, like I said before, just, educate yourself on the topic of money. Just gain the financial literacy, and don't be ignorant to the fact of what you can do with it and how you can bless people. So, God knows your heart, and just pray for the wisdom and discernment on how you can be a blessing to others around you.
And with financial literacy, like Jay always talks about, just like how we talked about in episode 1 about your environment you place yourself into, a lot of us are not sure how to gain financial literacy.
Exactly. So you have to surround yourself with the right mentors, modeling people with success, and definitely the Christian mentors, the people who are successful in the workforce, people who have that financial freedom you're looking for, people who have that peace, that have that lifestyle, the Christian lifestyle that you're looking for as well. So just find people who are successful and just model after them and take bits and pieces from that and implement it in your own life.
Exactly. Now, and I think it's pretty good to end with a question, just a question for you guys.
One question I would ask is, ask yourself, who's mentoring you? Who's mentoring you?
Who's mentoring you?
That's a big one. Who's mentoring you? Find you a mentor.
And here's the thing, here's the deep part about it. I feel like everybody has a mentor. It might not be a good mentor, but we all have a person who we get a lot of, who has a lot of influence over our life. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It could be, is it a rapper? Is it a rapper who curses it a lot? Is it a rapper who's, it can be anybody. It could be a celebrity, somebody but we all have somebody who we
look up to.
That we look up to.
But there's a difference from an idol and a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
So we're defining mentorship in a positive way.
Right. But I'm saying, you see what I'm saying? If you don't have a mentor, you have a mentor.
I know what you mean.
You have somebody who you're learning from, somebody who you're going to end up becoming like.
That's
you know what I mean?
Ask yourself, who's mentoring you?
Who is mentoring you?
Look yourself in the mirror, ask that question, and evaluate that.
Evaluate it.